I'll show you how to make caramel apple pie with a soft layer of sponge cake. Just look at all those apples, they're in caramel, and we have soft, moist layer of sponge cake on the bottom. It's gonna be so good. We'll need 2 apples, dice them into small cubes. Then melt 1 tablespoon of butter and fry the apples until they turn golden. When they look like this, add 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm also adding a pinch of nutmeg and maybe like 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, but it's optional. Fry for a minute or so and then remove it from the heat. I love this loaf pan and highly recommend. I will link it in the description below. I line it with parchment paper to keep the apples in place. Now we're gonna make our caramel, and this is important. If you burn the sugar, the caramel will taste burned, it will taste bitter, and your pie will be bitter. Add 1/2 cup of sugar, and it's best to use a pan for more surface. Please don't mix the sugar because it won't melt properly. Just pick up the pot and swirl in the air a little bit. The sugar will start to melt. It will look like this. And when it starts to turn golden, you're gonna pick up the pot and swirl in the air so everything melts evenly. So the whole idea is not to burn the sugar but melt it completely. So you can lower the heat and take the pan on and off the heat when you need to. So you see there's no sugar left and it's golden amber color. That's how it should be. I'm gonna take it off the heat and I'll add 2 tablespoons of butter. Mix until it combines together. Add 1/3 cup of cream. Put it back onto heat and mix until it melts and combines together. Add the caramel to the apples. If you leave it in a pan, it will harden, so transfer it right away. Now we're gonna make our sponge cake. We'll need 4 eggs. Mix on high speed until they're lighter in color and fluffy. Add 1/2 cup of sugar. And now you're gonna mix for at least 2 minutes on high speed. This step is very important because that's what makes your sponge cake fluffy and airy. Do you see how I hold the mixture? That's for the air to enter the batter. You can see all those bubbles. So if you undermix, you'll still have delicious sponge cake, but how much it rises matters on this step right here. We'll need 3/4 cup of flour and add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. It's best if you can sift it through the strainer. With the silicone spatula, you're gonna gently mix and mix just until the flour is mixed in. If you undermix, you'll remove lots of air and your sponge cake won't rise properly. Add the batter to our loaf pan. Bake at 350 for 40 minutes. You can always check with the wooden stick. If the stick is dry, it's ready. If it's wet, it's not ready. Then allow the pie to cool down and set before removing it. Now it's slightly warm and I'll remove it from the tray. Look how pretty this looks, unreal. I like how the caramel kind of like soaks into the sponge cake, and the apples on top, they remind me of like the sweet caramel, but it's also a jam. It's very soft, moist, and delicious, and I tried it warm and I tried it cold, and it's just as good when it's cold. I think most of us have these ingredients in our fridge at daily basis, so try it and I think you'll love it.